Dr. Newman, welcome to ASHS.
Good morning. Good morning, Josh. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm well.
Let's start off. Maybe you can tell me a bit about what your specialties are in horticulture and what kind of positions you've had in your career up to now.
My specialty uh, for the last 26 years of my career was commercial greenhouse. I was originally employed when I finished my PhD at Mississippi State University, and I worked on campus, and I primarily worked with nursery crops and greenhouse crops. And I was there for 9 years and worked really closely with the research faculty at the Poplarville Research Center down the Gulf Coast. His name was Sam Lesh. Uh, he was a great mentor. When I moved to Colorado State University, my primary appointment was to be cut flower extension specialist. And that was in the early 1990s. And the carnation industry had already pretty much moved offshore to South America. And the major cut flower industry at the time was still cut roses. But then again, the cut rose industry, within 3 or 4 years of my employment, again moved offshore to South America and Central America. So at that time, I had to make a significant switch in how I was doing my job. And I was still working primarily with commercial greenhouse crops. At that time, when the cut flower industry faded, switched into bedding plants and also included some work with greenhouse vegetables. The other thing that happened during that time is we had some staffing changes in the department, and I took over a teaching appointment. And I had a significant teaching appointment along with my extension appointment for most of the career. So I would say at one point, my primary specialty was poinsettias, um, work with bedding plant plugs. And towards the end of my career, end of my time we started working with greenhouse vegetables, primarily leafy greens. And ultimately, the last crops we work on were microgreens. And working with the human nutrition department, Sarah Johnson, who started a nutritional value study on microgreens. So at that point, microgreens was considered a garnish in a restaurant,
Mhm.
and now it's considered a staple. And one of the primary things we discovered is the most nutritional value with microgreens comes from dark red beet cultivars, so, which doesn't surprise anybody.
Right,
So
right.
it was not a thing to. So, like I said, I was a professor and extension specialist at CSU for 26 years, associate professor for 9 at Mississippi State. A lot of my time also at CSU, I got involved with extension direction leadership, uh, kind of working the back door and putting together working groups. I was active in the Western Region for Sustainable Agriculture Research Education, the SARE program, which got me involved in general ag programs across the Western United States, which ranges from Colorado, Wyoming, New Mexico, Montana to Guam.
Oh, wow.
So all inclusive.
Have you had the chance then to fly out to Guam and
I
do
have
work
been to
there?
Guam. I've been to Guam, and we went there for one of our training sessions. And then since we traveled so far, there was about 30 of us. And we split up on all the protected islands and the territorial
Hmm.
islands. And my assignment was the island of Pohnpei, Micronesia, and which is an island that takes 35 miles to drive around the island. And but to work with the local farmers that were doing what they would call tropical agriculture,
Hmm.
agroforestry, where they're growing squash and tomatoes, up in bananas and coconuts, and a couple of pigs running around the yard.
Yeah. Well, that sounds,
It was fascinating.
yeah, that sounds a lot more fun than being stuck in a university campus somewhere
Uh,
as a short break.
yeah, well, we tried to spend as much time out as an extension specialist. My job was not to be on campus.
Hmm.
So
Well, maybe following up on that, I mean, since you've had kind of a nice diversity of experience, what has horticulture and your career meant to you?
horticulture for me, I would call it a lifestyle. Um, Career is the wrong word. Career job is the wrong word. It's a lifestyle. And where since I worked with commercial greenhouse, my friends who are not involved in horticulture campus would ask, "Do you have a greenhouse in your yard?" I would say, "No, absolutely not." That's the last thing I want when I go home is to work on something I've been working on all day. But horticulture in general is a lifestyle because horticulture touches everything that we do. Horticulture touches what we eat, it, and horticulture in the ornamental floral area touches the soul. So we used to say food for the soul is ornamental horticulture. And so we're touching every aspect of modern life with vegetables and with produce, with flowers, with trees, with shrubs, turf, everything is involved. So horticulture to me is a lifestyle. No, none of us are going to get rich doing this, um, but that's where it touches me. So um, I kind of landed in horticulture in a little bit of a unique way in that I started out college thinking I was going to be an engineer, and that didn't work out. And my father, who is a college professor in animal science, redirected me into an area that he thought I would be more productive in that the department in the college at Montana State University was creating a new degree called recreation area management and with constant mostly in park design, park management, park administration, including some horticulture. And I was thinking about doing a master's degree in landscape architecture, had put together a portfolio for my design contracting classes, but an assistantship popped up at the University of Nebraska to teach plant propagation. Well, you follow the money. The graduate degree in landscape architecture wasn't going to pay anything, but this degree paid something. I did. You could get money to go to college, was kind of amazing, and started teaching plant propagation classes. And from then on, I was hooked. So I would call my slipping into horticulture was through creative direction by my advisors, including my father.
Hmm.
So, but it's been a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
Like you said a moment ago, we're not going to get rich, but it's food for the soul. So maybe in some ways, we're getting rich in a certain way in the lifestyle and
yeah,
kind of the virtues of horticulture, if you could call it that. But
wealth isn't just money.
yes, absolutely. Well then, maybe kind of riffing off of that, what what parts of your experience in the horticultural lifestyle have you found the most rewarding? Since, it touches a lot of crops, a lot of aspects of human life, there's diversity in kind of the paths our careers take. What's been most rewarding for you?
The most rewarding part of my career has been the students. I am connected with students as far back as when I was teaching plant propagation labs at Texas A&M. I have connections with my students and grad students from my time at Mississippi State, and I have connections at Colorado State University. And the last 10 or 15 years at CSU, I directed my greenhouse management classes to online, and I would teach 3 times a year online, 30, 40 students at a time, students all over the world. And every now and then at this meeting, somebody walked up to me the other day and said, "I finally get to meet you." He took the class online from somewhere else, and I'd never
Hmm.
seen his face before. So the rewarding part is this, I have to say, are the students, the connections, the colleagues, the reconnections. Facebook has been really an incredible tool to connect with your former students and watch them blossom in their careers and watch their families grow. And I think that's the most rewarding part is staying in touch with people.
So then I'm sure, coming to these conferences is a great opportunity. Like you started off saying, you're here to see a lot of people. I'm sure it's really nice to be all together in the
There's a
same
handful of people
conference.
here older than me. There's a lot of people my age, and there's a lot of young people here that really makes me smile seeing. Uh, I met a young woman yesterday who just finished her bachelor's degree and going into graduate work, and it's so exciting to see the excitement in her eyes and listen to her research projects she's working on, and how thinking back, I hope I was like that when I was her age.
So how long have you been a member of ASHS?
Oh my gosh, I joined in 1980.
1980.
That's when my first meeting was in 1981. And I went to every meeting until my youngest son started going to scout camps, and I went with him. Um, so I looked at the list of meetings I've attended the other day, and I went, oh, because the society went in their profile records every single activity that you've done in the organization,
Interesting.
and includes every committee assignment, every time you're a chairman of a committee. Doesn't tell you exactly how many publications you've reviewed, but I've been a member since 1980, and my first meeting, I traveled with my advisor from Montana State, and we slept in sleeping bags on the floor. And this is for the people listening, in Dr. Gary Couvillon's hotel room in Salt Lake City in 1977. There will be people watching this that'll remember that man. So
All right.
he was,
Then I mean, I'm sure then you've seen, a lot of changes in the society over those years.
yes, the society's changed a lot over the years. The leadership of the society has always been aggressive in trying to stay at the cutting edge of publication technologies, trying to be responsive to the membership. They've worked really hard to keep the conferences inexpensive, um, which is why we come to places like New Orleans at the end of July when the heat index is 110, but the rooms are inexpensive. The uh, the changes and have been through savvy direction from the executive leadership of this organization. His name is Mike Neff,
Mhm.
and I really admire what he's done for the society. He's been in the primary leadership role for probably at least 20, 25 years. And the people that are taking over with Mike's retirement, Tracy Shawn and others, are maintaining this strong leadership. And I say the the staff has done a good job of maintaining the society with the interest of the members. Uh, and how do we keep and promote the membership? Because most people belong to the organization to publish, and we have three strong publications. I remember when Hort Technology came on, it was kind of novel to be less science oriented, more teaching and extension. Um, I would just say the society has done a good job of trying to stay out front and always listening and always developing and always adapting to social media, adapting to electronic publications, online management, um, and because everything that society does is designed around career advancement for the faculty that are members. That's what's kept them alive.
And do you feel that, I mean, maybe as a follow-up, as a broad question, what has ASHS done for you? And I'm sure part of that is, career advancement and being, in this community, but I'm sure there's more than just that.
It's publications. I'm not widely published, but it's putting publications out there, the opportunities for leadership through committee membership and committee directions has allowed me the opportunity to use those tools as promotion and tenure and advancement. But also it helps me stay in front of the trends of the industry and the trends that are directing, because research sometimes develops the trends. In some organizations, the trend develops the research, and this organization has tried to stay in front. I remember when there was an effort to move more extension publications into a universal uh, strategy where at one point, let's say that there is a publication on Western flower thrips on from Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, and all the same publications. So why don't we have publications from every state? And then the idea was create an organization called E-Extension. And before E-Extension came along, which was trying to unify all these publications, before E-Extension came along, the society was already working on um, trying to put together a library and consortium of different publications um, for different states to use. It was called HortBase. And this is an effort that the society did back in the late 1990s, trying to get in front of online distribution of extension publications. Well, E-Extension came in, took that over for about 5 or 10, 15 years, and now it's drifted back the other way, back to local control. But the society has given me the opportunity to stay in front, to work with my own colleagues at the university, and especially working with extension colleagues, maybe not in horticulture, but to keep abreast of what's going on in the research areas.
Mhm.
So,
Awesome. Well, maybe one more follow-up from that would be, what kind of value or benefit do you see ASHS having for, the new generation of students and young researchers, and what would be your advice for, you know, opportunities they can have for engagement that you think are very valuable here?
the opportunity for new students is just like it's the same opportunity I had when I joined. It's an outlet for your work. It's an input for you to study others' work, and it's an outlet with more and more committees and Zoom calls. And I mean, the COVID pandemic drove a lot of this even further across the edge to create more online communication, more directions, and more connections with colleagues in other states. So my advice to students is to use the society as a tool for communication, for keeping up to date with what others are doing, and how what others are doing can uh, direct what you want to do and what you need to do. The in retirement, I'm trying to take the word "need to do" out of my vocabulary and make it "want to do." So it's an outlet. It's not an expensive membership. There's no reason you shouldn't be a member. A lot of people just join so they can publish, and they wait and join again when they have another publication. The most important thing to do when a young person comes to a meeting like this is understand that the most important sessions you will attend are in the hallway or the bar, where you're meeting new friends, new people, and you talk about your work, learn about their work, and support each other. So the hallway communications are the most important. And the other thing I like to tell my students and anybody that I work with is that to treasure those connections and to treasure the students that you meet, uh, your industry connections. Extension is strong because you work with so many different industry professionals. Understand everybody's got their own challenges. You can't fix everything. And sometimes if something is working, you don't want to fix it. And the other advice is to study hard, work hard, play hard, keep focused on your family. So,
Excellent. Well, so as a final question, put a cap on this, what do you see as being really exciting or gets you invigorated looking towards the future of horticulture as a field, as a lifestyle?
well, what I really think about is where we are compared to where we were when I was a grad student, where we are in the understanding of plant science, where we were hoping to be, where we thought we were about understanding plant science today is so far away. There's so much that you can do today with the advent of computers and computerized equipment and HPLC technologies and all the chromatographic tools that we have. And I think just the degree of plant science that we are learning today, being able to isolate individual activities like with which wavelengths of light, since now we have LEDs where it can generate a specific wavelength, which wavelength of light is actually controlling photosynthesis, which is actually managing plant growth responses. And then with all this new technology and all this new science and all this new unknown, now known advances in plant science, there's still the mystery. There's still so much more to learn. And I see that the more and more developed that this organization gets into the basic sciences of plant growth, plant production, and food production to enhance food quality, not just food production, but food quality, uh, food preservation, and also the advancement of how our universities and our university faculty interact with the public. Because a lot of times when you're stuck in a lab, you forget that there's a public out there that are buying the plants, eating the fruit, the produce, enjoying the products in their yard. So we all need to also make sure that we include how we interact with the public. And that's what's great about ASHS in that not only do we focus on the science, focus on the education, but we also focus on how do we enhance and work with our communities in community development. So we have this diversity of directions with extension where they touch the people. And sometimes universities forget that we work for the people and we feed the people. So,
Well, that's a great note to end on. Dr. Newman, thank you so
thank
much.
you.
It's great
All
meeting
right.
you.